So in 2017, I finally got a Fund for Teachers grant to go and visit Donald O'Hagan in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and to study the Troubles and to improve our Northern Irish Troubles curriculum. And so I had, by this point, connections all over Ireland and all over Northern Ireland, except in the city that is arguably the most important city in the history of the Troubles. A big city near the border in Northern Ireland that the Catholics insist is called Derry, and that the Protestants insist is called Londonderry. So I needed to find something to do to improve our Troubles curriculum while we were in Derry/Londonderry. So I booked a tour, and I sometimes on the internet, you punch there's a lot of choices and you punch the wrong thing. And I meant to book the Bloody Sunday 1972 tour, but I accidentally signed up for the Derry Walls 1688 tour. And I was very embarrassed about this, but I didn't want to make the guy feel bad. So I was like, well, maybe I'll sign up for both tours. Like we'll stay overnight, in the morning we'll do the other tour. So I'm also gonna sign up. So I called the guy and I'm like, yeah, I'll do the Derry Walls tour, but I really want to do the Bloody Sunday tour. We teach the Troubles. And he's like, oh, that's great, that's fine. Just pay me for that one. You pay that one on the internet, but pay me when you're here for the other tour. And I say, I noticed that your name is Glenn Doherty. I know some people in Donegal named Mary and Edward Doherty. Do you know them? And he said, you might know that everyone in this part of Ulster is named Doherty. So we went through the Republic of Ireland first, and when we crossed the border and came into Northern Ireland, we came in late to the city of Derry, Londonderry, and when we entered the hotel, Glenn, because I had a grant with a colleague, and Glenn greeted my colleague and I in the hotel, and he was a gruff-looking guy. He had pretty shaved down hair. He'd had the mutton chops. He had the Fred Perry-looking polo shirt and the bomber jacket and the, wearing jeans, but also wearing low-top brogue Doc Martens that were oxblood color. He was a gruff-looking guy, and he took us out. The thing he explained to us, he's like, I have to do the Bloody Sunday tour today, and tomorrow I can do the Derry Walls tour. And there's a reason for this. He said it's August 12th, and within the Derry Walls, the Protestants are marching. It's the Apprentice Boys Parade to celebrate when they defeated the Catholic king and when they kept the Jacobin soldiers out of the city walls. And Northern Irish Protestants from all over the world have returned today, and they're marching inside the city walls, and there might be trouble like there was back in 1969. And I knew what he was talking about, because 1969 was the Battle of the Bogside, when the parade overflowed into the Catholic neighborhood right below the castle walls, the Bogside. And that is the event that basically triggered the 30 years of war known as the Troubles. So I said, great, yes, today we'll do the Bloody Sunday tour, and we went all around, and we really got to know and like Glenn. He introduced us to his family. The Catholics that day were having a celebration that was spelled F-L-E-A-D-H, and it was pronounced Fla, I think, because I think Gaelic spelling was created to confuse the English. So we went to that, and we had tea, and we watched some step dancing, and we were with Glenn and his sister, and everything was great. But then we had to go to the bank, which was outside the Derry city walls. Okay, at this point in the story, when I say I could hear the drums from the Derry walls, I want you to lightly tap on the table and sort of give me some drum noise. And then when I say I heard the loud drums from the Derry walls, then we'll just like really go for it, right? When we get close to the Derry Walls. So we're at the FLA, and I can hear behind me the drums from the Derry Walls. And we're walking, and the drums get just a little bit louder, tiny bit louder, as we walk towards the bank, which was right outside the Derry Walls. So we go there, we go to the bank, I change my euros for British pounds so that I can pay Gleann, and Gleann is waiting there with my colleague, David Senderoff. They're waiting there right underneath the Derry Walls, and I can still a little bit hear the drums, the Derry Walls, and the drums are getting a little louder from the Derry Walls, and so I play, and I'm looking up at the Derry Wall, and I say, you know what? I may never be in Derry again. And if I am, it probably won't be on August 12th. I got to go inside and see that parade. And Gleann says, well, I wouldn't advise it. But since I feel responsible for the two of you, I'm going to join you. I'm going to go inside the Derry Walls and watch the parade with you. And Gleann zips up his bomber jacket to hide what's written on his polo shirt, which is Derry Walking Tours, not Londonderry Walking Tours. He zips up his bomber jacket, and we walk inside, and we watch the parade, and it's spectacular. Men in bowler hats are doing all this pageantry. It looks like some kind of mix of some sort of royal parade and possibly John Cleese's Ministry of Silly Walks in Monty Python, but like with a little bit more pomp and circumstance. And they're coming around the center of town, and we're watching it. And I can see Gleann is watching this with just uncomprehending eyes. And Gleann starts talking sort of to himself, but maybe to me, and he said, I thought there'd be trouble. But there are hundreds of people in this parade, and there's about 12 of us watching it. These people don't care anymore. And he's completely blown away by this. And I take my photos of the parade. It's really exciting. And then at the end, we walk out of the Derry Walls. And where we walk, the archway, someone has spray painted the graffiti IRA Ghost. And we walk through the archway with IRA Ghost. And we're at this hill, and down below we can see the poor Catholic neighborhood of the Bogside. We're heading towards the Bogside. And Gleann breathes a sigh of relief. He unzips his jacket. And he says, and again, I'm not sure if it was to me or if it was to himself. And he says, I'm 47 years old. My father was killed at Bloody Sunday. I've heard those drums all my life. And that's the first time I saw that parade. Thank you.